Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter Podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Sorry to say that this is not Eric. Eric is in Orlando with his family vacationing. And welcome to the Ringside Reporter Podcast, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we're going to talk about it here. And as you all know, I'm Joe Habib, and I'm here with the incomparable Ringside Robert. And we have a great show for you today. As always, you can catch us on the web at ringsidereporter.com. If you want to call in to ask questions or just give your 2 cents, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857. You have to hit the option 1 if you want to talk to us. Well, we got an awesome show today. We're going to talk about Triple G and Canelo. It's on, kind of. We're also going to talk about Riddick Bowe's Hall of Fame ring on eBay. You better get your wallet out because this is a real hefty price tag for this one. Adrien Broner set to fight Manny Pacquiao. Really? Let's see if that happens. But also, you know, the big one, Keith Thurman versus Shawn Porter. Robbie, let's just jump right into this, man. We're going to get into the UK fights later, but this is the hot topic of the show. Let's just get right into this. Keith Thurman, Shawn Porter, 50-50 fight on paper, and it played out just like that. I scored the fight, 115-113. I thought that both guys, you know, did good things in there. They played to their strengths, and they were able to impose their strengths on each other at certain points of the fight. But you could say that Keith Thurman just did that much more to deserve a close, clear, not like pretty close decision. I'm not going to say close, clear cut. It's a close decision, well deserved. Arguably could have been a draw, but like I always like to say, sometimes a draw. But I don't think Shawn Porter did enough to win. He may have done enough not to lose. But, you know, nevertheless, what do you think of this fight, Robbie?
Well, I enjoyed the fight. Of course, on the show, all three of us picked Shawn Porter, and we all were very wrong. Shawn...
No. I have to jump in.
Okay.
I do remember Eric did pick Thurman. I have to say that. I want to correct you on that point. Sorry to interrupt.
Well, I believe Eric will call in, but I think all three of us picked Porter. But anyway, besides the point, it was a very good fight. They both did what they both like to do. Shawn is an inside fighter. He likes to, you know, pin people up against the ropes and go to work. And I was talking to a friend of mine last night after the fight, and he said, well, Robert, doesn't Shawn smother his work by doing that? And I said, yeah, he does, but he's always fought in that style. My friend kept telling me, he kept yelling at the TV, back up a little bit and you'll have some room and you could do some damage. But Shawn doesn't do that. He has to be real close to his fighters. He's not a very good outside fighter, and that's one of the weaknesses in his game.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Porter has been criticized for smothering his punches, but you have to admit, when he did get inside, he was working the body pretty well. He was roughing Keith Thurman up. He was bodying him, making Keith Thurman have to fight to keep Shawn Porter off him. And that in itself expends a lot of energy. So in that regard, I think that Keith Thurman had a workout. But, you know, to his credit, he hung in there. He held when he had to hold. You know, he was getting hit with the body shots. He was getting hit with some short left hooks. But all in all, you know, pretty simple here. When Keith Thurman had the distance, had the space, he was more effective. He was timing Shawn Porter. He was countering him very well, particularly with the left hook. And it's good right hands. Both guys cut each other in this fight, which was very odd. You know, I wasn't expecting that, but both guys, ironically, got cut in the eye, same spot, different eyes if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah,
you know, both guys were landing good punches in this fight. And not to cut you off, I just want to finish this point before I let you get right back in here. Is Keith Thurman, some of those shots he was landing on Shawn Porter, other opponents did not stand up to them. And Paulie Malignaggi alluded to that, too, during the broadcast. What did you think of Keith Thurman's power? Is it overrated, or is just Shawn Porter in phenomenal shape? Is he just a durable, rugged guy, and he was able to stand up to those shots? What did you think?
I believe now that Keith Thurman are fighting legitimate welterweights. I think his power might be slightly overrated because, everybody made such a big deal about, his nickname being one time. Well, Keith hit Shawn with some serious shots, and Shawn didn't go anywhere. Okay. So I think it's quite, because remember when he fought Collazo and he's fought some of these other people, he's been able to damage them because in some cases they're not full-fledged welterweights. Shawn Porter is a full-fledged welterweight, and I could see him moving up in the future. So I don't know. I think Keith just found somebody that could take his punches and handled them rather well. The only one that, Thurman buckled Porter's knees once or twice, but Porter still didn't go down. And I give full credit to Dan Birmingham because between the two trainers, Dan was able to have Keith make adjustments to what Shawn was doing, and Kenny Porter did not. We didn't get to hear all the instructions, but I don't know if Kenny Porter was able to give Shawn the proper instructions to deal with what Keith was doing. So I think Dan Birmingham had the edge as far as the two corners are concerned.
Make one brief point before I go to the callers, and I don't know if these callers are just listening or if they want to speak. I'm going to give them a shot and see what happens.
Well, we'll find out.
One point, absolutely. One point that I do want to make here is, you talked about the trainers giving instructions, but to be fair, we have to admit that Keith Thurman is a little bit more versatile than Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter has to get inside, has to make it a rugged fight to be effective and win, whereas we've seen Keith Thurman slug it out a little bit. We've seen Keith Thurman boxing move. We've seen Keith Thurman be the counter puncher. So taking nothing away from Shawn Porter, not to minimize him in any way because he is a talented fighter, but you have to argue, and I would at least concede the point that Keith Thurman is a bit more versatile. Now, going into this fight, I wasn't so sure the versatility would have helped him because, a lot of his weakness is up close, and we did see that in spots in this fight. But all in all, his versatility was what carried him through in this fight. So let me go to the callers real quick here and see if we can get some people on. 931, you're live on Ringside Reporter Podcast. Talk to us.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing good. Who is it?
What's your name?
Hey, this is Steven. I write for the Ringside Reporter sometimes. How you guys doing?
Hey, Steven. How are you?
What's going on, Steven? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, pretty good, man. I didn't get to see the... I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Oh, I was going to say, give us your thoughts on this fight.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't get to see the English fight.
No, we're talking about Porter and Thurman.
No. The Porter Thurman one. We're going to get to the English fights later on in the show.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I thought. I wanted Thurman to win. I like both of them a lot, but I thought he hurt Porter a few times. It could have been a draw, actually. But I think you could see Porter shaking his head a few times after a few of them hooks, And I thought he had him hurt, but tough as hell.
Yes,
he is. A couple quick questions I want to ask the callers. When I'm going to ask you them. You're the first guy to be asked these questions. Let's take a look at Porter versus Brook, and kind of let's match up Thurman versus Brook, because after this fight, everyone is saying that Thurman would beat Brook. A lot of the Twitter talk is Thurman is the man now. What are your thoughts on that? Because I honestly thought that Brook handled Porter easier than Thurman did. So I think style-wise, I think that Brook presents a whole host of challenges for Thurman. He's got a toolbox chock full of weapons that he can unleash on Thurman, whereas Porter only had that one style. What do you think of that potential matchup?
I would like to see that matchup, and I agree with you. I think he's pretty big for Thurman too, don't you think? I mean, I think he could get away with some of that holding too. I don't know if Thurman could wiggle out of that.
Now, remember,
he may be able to control Thurman. That's a good. I'd love to see that fight.
Now, keep one thing in
mind.
Go ahead, Joe.
Let me just get this in before I let you go.
Right.
Arguably, you could say that maybe Brook hits harder than Thurman as well, and he stands and sits down on his punches a little more, where Thurman is more, happy with moving around and stopping real quick, and he may not be able to sit down like Brook does, because Brook really makes a commitment to land that right hand with authority. A lot of times, Thurman is just looking to catch guys coming in with that left hook, and he may not just land it perfectly, whereas Brook seems to land that right hand flush almost every time he throws it.
I think.
Go ahead,
Ringside.
Steven, I'm sorry.
I think Brook could hurt Thurman, but it's hard to say. I've never really seen neither one of them get hurt. That's kind of like the Thurman and Porter. I didn't think there was going to be a knockout. I think both of them was really tough, and I think Brook's the same way.
Yeah. All I was going to say, it's kind of hard to judge Brook against Thurman, because remember, in the Brook-Porter fight there was so much holding, and the referee did such a terrible job in that fight of taking care of that. So that's the only negative that I see. It would be interesting to see how Thurman would handle a Brook without all the holding that happened in the Porter fight.
Well,
definitely,
Robbie, keep in mind though, this one real quick point here, that Brook was holding, but he was releasing the clinch, and he was punching off the clinch too. And Shawn was waiting for the referee to break, and the referee was willing to let them fight out of those clinches. So I think Shawn was a little better last night at fighting out of the clinches, even though there weren't as many of them as there were in the Brook fight. But I think Shawn's improved upon that, and I also think that Brook has a way of setting the pace in the fight. He dictates the pace. He has a way of controlling the fight. He can speed it up when he wants and slow it down when he wants, and he picks and chooses his spots well. It's going to be interesting to see him match up against Thurman. That's a blockbuster of a fight, and I would actually want to see that first before I saw a rematch. That's something that I would like. Thank you so much for calling in, and we're going to get to our next caller.
I appreciate you guys, man. Keep it up.
I was going to say, I also think because if Brook is successful against Vargas, that fight will probably take place in the UK, because Brook will use the fact that he's got 2 titles over Thurman having 1.
Absolutely.
So that's another fight that will probably head to the UK. Let's go to the next caller.
I got you. All right, 1111111. You're live on Ringside Reporter Podcast. Talk to us. What's your name? All right, maybe just what I suspected, just a listener. Which is cool, no problem. So let's get right back into this. So, again, Keith Thurman is the man right now in the welterweight division. Possible future matchups with Kell Brook. Danny Garcia is an option, too. How do you think Danny Garcia matches up with either one of these guys? To be honest, in my opinion, I think style-wise, Danny would have a better time with Shawn Porter as opposed to Keith Thurman, because Danny has problems with guys who move a lot, and Danny's not the quickest guy on his feet. He's not the greatest inside fighter, but he can hold his own a little bit. We've seen him do pretty well against Matisse. He was able to kind of wrap Matisse up a little bit and slow down the pace of that fight and kind of control and be the ring general in that one. So I would think he would have a better shot against Porter just because of the style. I think Keith Thurman may be a nightmare for him.
Yeah, no,
what do you think, Robbie?
Danny Garcia, if you wanted to have a unification fight, the result went the wrong way for him. I think Keith Thurman would give Danny fits. I think Danny against Shawn would be a hell of a fight, because they have the same kind of foot speed. And they both kind of fight. They both fight on the inside. But I think Danny's got the punching power, and I think that would be another difficult assignment for Shawn, because I don't know if Shawn could handle Danny's devastating left hook that he uses.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to run through these UK fights real quick, and I'm sure, people coming, we can get back to this fight, because this fight was an outstanding fight.
Yeah.
Real quick, Robbie, before we switch gears here, let's talk about fight of the year. A lot of people are saying that this fight is already fight of the year. You and I talked earlier, and you liked the Salido Vargas fight.
If I had to vote, that would be the one I'd vote for so far this year.
Yeah. And let me just add this. This is why I like this fight better than that fight. Not to diminish that fight in any way. That fight, to me, looked more like a street fight. It was a brawl. whereas this fight had a little bit of everything in it. It had some street fight type moments in it where Shawn Porter was getting in there and trying to maul Keith Thurman, but it also had the beauty of seeing Keith Thurman use some ring intelligence, use his skills, try to create space, try to set traps, great counterpunching. So this was basically, I think you had everything rolled up into one here. You had drama because both guys got caught with big shots. They got cut. Both guys buckled. They didn't go down, but both guys buckled. They were hurt. It looked like, at certain points of the fight, one guy could go, the other guy could go. A lot of ebb and flow in this fight. So I just think this fight encompassed more of the totality of the things we like about the sport, whereas that fight was mostly, I think, a slugfest type thing. It was somewhat devoid of skill compared to this fight, in my opinion. But to each his own, man. I mean, I'm not going to tell anyone what to like. But if I was to cast my vote today, I would vote for this fight that we saw last night. Go ahead, Bobby.
With the way that you break down fights, it's hard to argue with you, brother. So good points as usual.
Thank you, brother. Always good to get recognized for my abilities.
Yes.
But let's jump into these UK fights. I know that most everyone saw Anthony Joshua versus Dominic Breazeale. Everyone saw Chris Eubank versus Tom Doran. Let's talk about this Anthony Joshua-Dominic Breazeale fight real quick. Now, Anthony Joshua, not many people expected much from Dominic Breazeale. He was there basically as a sacrificial lamb, with all due respect. Give him credit. He put up a gallant effort. You could see that he gave everything he had. He wasn't there just to lie down. When he got hit with big shots, he tried to punch back. But the big difference here, which was so evident, was the speed and the explosiveness of Anthony Joshua, and Dominic Breazeale just could not deal with that. It was just too much. This was not only a skill gap, but this was just a total ability gap. There was no way. I hate to say this about a fighter, but there was just nothing he could have done that was going to enable him to win this fight, in my opinion, because he doesn't have that one-punch knockout power. He's not an imposing type strong guy. He's not a guy that puts on a lot of pressure where he could tire a guy out in the later rounds. He's just I don't know. He's just a lower level top 10 fighter, and I don't think that's the type of guy.
I hate to say this about a former United States Olympian. Give him credit for going 7 rounds, but if AJ would have put his punches together and went to the body, he could have ended that a lot sooner than 7.
That's what people are saying. That's what people are saying. I mean,
I'm not going to criticize Anthony Joshua because he won, but he's got to work on a body attack. You can't just depend on going for headshots, because if he gets in there with some of these other heavyweights, they're going to take full advantage of that. And so I hope that his camp will look at this film and show him what he did wrong. If you're going to be a devastating heavyweight, you have to add more to your game. Like David Hay pointed out several times throughout the Sky Sports broadcast yesterday, Anthony Joshua needs to take advantages of the gifts he has, and he needs to change the speed of his punches, because Breazeale was prepared for a lot of what was coming, and if he would have used his speed advantage to his advantage a lot more, the fight would have ended a lot sooner, and he needs to go to the heavyweight's body a lot more. I mean, Breazeale came in weighing, 255 or 256? He definitely could have ended it a lot sooner had he gone to the body a lot more.
Yeah, and just let me make one quick point. Let me get your opinion on this, because a lot of people are saying he could have done this, he could have done that, and obviously, he won every second of this fight. There was not one moment in this fight where he was hurt or he was in danger of anything. Here, this was basically this was child abuse. With all due respect, it was crazy watching this fight, because there was just nothing. You almost felt bad. At least I felt bad for Dominic Breazeale, because he got in there and he was probably saying to himself, "What the hell did I get myself into?" But hey, you know what? He got paid. But going back to the heart, he kept trying to punch. He tried to go to the body, and he was landing body shots. But as soon as he would land a body shot, Anthony Joshua would just start cranking that left hook upstairs. And there's no way he was going to be able to sustain any type of attack because everything Anthony Joshua threw at him, he was being hurt. But let me just go back and make one point here because we were saying a lot of these things about Deontay Wilder coming up, where he was just one-dimensional, he was right-hand happy. But then as the competition got better, he started adding more wrinkles to his game. We started seeing a little bit more versatility from him offensively. At least I can admit that in terms of the jab. He was throwing the right hand in different variations. He was starting to throw uppercuts. He was starting to throw short left hooks. So we started seeing a little bit more weapons from him. Now, as the competition steadily improves for Joshua, do you expect him to do more in there? Because let's be honest, when you're not called upon to do more and you can get away with doing less and get by with it, it's very easy to do so. And I'm not saying that Anthony Joshua put out a half-hearted effort here, but he couldn't miss him with headshots. And every time he hit him in the head, he got a reaction. I mean, Breazeale was staggering back. He was being hurt. So was there really a need to go to the body? Because there was no way Breazeale was going to sustain those headshots. Anyways, I understand what you're saying from just a common boxing type knowledge type thing, like from a trainer's aspect of getting the best and the most out of your fighter. Yeah, he probably could have got him out of there early. But, a 7-round knockout like that's not bad either. I mean, Breazeale could not even get up from those shots.
Joe, what I'm worried about here is Eddie Hearn and company are going to throw him in against a Wilder sooner than he's ready for. And I would like to see Joshua develop more. It's kind of too bad in a way that he's got this title because I think everybody in boxing is going to jump to the conclusion, hey, we're ready for a unification bout. And I don't think Anthony Joshua is ready for Deontay Wilder yet. He needs to develop. He needs to fight.
Oh, I think he is.
Okay.
Some people don't know, but you make valid points. I mean, he does have a lot more fights, Deontay Wilder, than Anthony Joshua. So in fairness, maybe he could get some more fights under his belt, but once you have the tag of world champion attached to your name,
I know.
Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. The training wheels come off, and you got to just go. You just got to go, right?
I think this guy is the future of the heavyweight division, but I'm afraid that future may be slightly delayed if he gets thrown in there with Wilder too soon. That's my fear.
Point well taken, Robbie. So let's talk about this Chris Eubank-Tom Doran fight. This was an unforegone conclusion.
You can't really say much about this.
Yeah, I mean, this was a foregone conclusion. Chris Eubank did what was expected. He really put it on Tom Doran, and he was just too much for Tom Doran.
You want to talk about childish showcase? This fight.
Yeah, this was no doubt just a stay busy type fight. This is in no way going to help him in terms of preparation for a fight against Triple G.
No.
That's an interesting matchup. Not so sure he would be able to beat Triple G, but, judging by some of the explosiveness, some of his athletic gifts, he could present problems for Triple G. And it would definitely be an entertaining fight. And on paper, it looks like a pretty good matchup. It looks like one of the better matchups out there for Triple G. Much better than Dominic Wade.
My only question is, with Eubank and Triple G, the only thing I don't know, according to Eddie Hearn, the fight was supposed to be signed by the end of this week. But the only thing I don't know is what weight division is it going to be at? Is it going to be 160 or is it going to be 168? Because Eubank fights at 168, don't he?
No, he fights at 160.
Does he? Okay. All right.
Yeah, he does.
He
fights
all right.
160.
Yeah.
So that'll be at 160. That's no problem.
Yeah. And no, that's supposed to take place in August, from what I understand. So, boy,
August or September, Robbie.
Yeah. You people in the UK, you're lucky. You're going to see the greatest show on earth, brothers.
Yeah. And Triple G did say that he was going to go to the UK to fight him. He had no problem doing that. So that's great.
Well, the reason why he said that, Joe, now you can answer this question because I asked Eric earlier in the week and he didn't know. Is Chris Eubank and Billy Joe Saunders, are they promoted by the same promoter? Because if they are...
Eubank and Billy Joe Saunders? I am not 100% sure on that.
Because
I know Eubank's got Eddie Hearn, but I don't know who Billy Joe Saunders has. I'm not 100% sure on that. If anyone can call or message me. Oh, he's not. Davey, thank you, Davey boy, Essex. One of the UK my UK pipeline said no, he is not with Eddie Hearn.
Okay,
Beautiful.
Thank you.
He's with Billy Joe Saunders is with Warren. Frank Warren. So thank you, Davey boy.
Because see, my thought process was, Joe, if he goes over there and say is successful against Eubank, then he would have his next fight after that over there to fight against Saunders, and basically win over another fan base, because you know how Triple G sells out everywhere he goes. I think this is his way of going, I'm going to go to the UK for my next two fights and win those people over too, you know?
You like Sugar Ray Robinson when Sugar Ray Robinson did that UK tour. Remember when he did that European tour back in the day?
That's right. That's right.
All those guys, all the European champions?
Yeah.
Maybe Triple G could do that. Make some money.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I mean,
for all you youngsters out there that may not know about that. That's why you got the Beaver and Robbie, the old timers.
While he's waiting for Canelo, and we'll talk about that later. But that's a good way to keep yourself busy. Go fight Eubank, then stay over there and fight Saunders. Collect another belt. That way, by the time he gets Canelo in the ring, it's for all four belts.
Absolutely.
You can't beat that.
That's a good plan, Robbie. I like the plan.
Yeah.
I like the plan. So, I don't think you were able to watch this George Groves versus Martin Murray fight, but once again, shout out to Davey Boy Essex, who gave me this fight, and this was a very, very entertaining fight. I'm going to have to admit, I was surprised at how well George Groves did. He was very effective while he was backing up and moving forward here. So Martin Murray kept plodding forward with the high guard, as he always does, like we said he would do, but he was not able to block the shots this time. A lot of times he would catch shots on the gloves and fire right back at his opponent, and he's been known to be very solid defensively, but let's give George Groves credit in this fight. He was the aggressor here. He hurt Martin Murray on several occasions in this fight, staggered him a few times. And, Martin Murray landed a good shot, too, as well against George Groves in the 10th round, and he kind of wobbled back a little bit. But for the most part, this was George Groves' fight pretty easily here. The scores were wide, 118, 110, and a couple 117, 111s, I believe. And I scored it a little bit closer. I had it 116 and 112 for Groves, but, this puts him right back into the picture. He could be fighting, Fedor Chudinov next. I think that's the next fight that possibly is going to be made for George Groves, which is a very interesting fight. I would slightly favor Groves in that one because I think he's, quicker, a little more athletic, a little more slippery, I should say. Spit that out for you guys. But, I think that he'd be a little bit difficult for Chudinov, who's kind of slower, more of a, basic 1-2 type guy from the outside, not really a slickster, not very scientific with his offense. I think George Groves will definitely present a lot of problems for Chudinov, but who knows, man? We got to see. Chudinov is a decent fighter in his own right, but he's just reminds me sort of like a Kessler. Kessler, just kind of like a meat potatoes fighter, nothing special. Just a stand up, straight up one, stand up 1-2 type fighter from the outside.
And I've got to criticize. I got to criticize Showtime because we should have been able to see that fight yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, they spent a lot of. They showed the Eubank fight, and then they spent the whole time while Groves and Murray were fighting. They spent the whole time talking about Anthony Joshua fighting and what Deontay Wilder was about him fighting Chris Arreola. I mean, no offense to those guys at Showtime, but I would much look. I pay my Showtime subscription to actually see fights. I don't want to see people talking about a fight. Okay.
Well, it goes back to what I said before, Robbie. A lot of these networks, they want to, showcase knockouts, and they knew that they were going to get 2 knockout fights, by putting Breazeale and Anthony Joshua, and then by putting Chris Eubank on the undercard. They knew that they were going to get 2 exciting knockout fights, 2 showcase fights, and they basically, in my opinion, wanted to showcase these 2 guys and make them look as good as they could to the boxing public because, again, they want to bring them back. And, people see them knocking out their opponents in impressive fashion, then they're going to want to come back and watch them. Now, whether or not that's good from a boxing fan purist standpoint, because we like to see competitive fights, that's another thing. But, it is what it is. I mean, what can you say? That's basically what's been going on here in the sport of boxing.
But on the other hand, I've got to give Showtime props because we're able to hear the Sky Sports announcers and commentary, and you people in the UK, you don't know how lucky you are. These guys actually do the fights. You don't hear any promoting. They talk about the fights. You don't hear what Showtime does or what HBO does during fights. I want to see more British fights put on American TV with those guys announcing because they do an outstanding job.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's just run through the schedule a little bit here because we talked about the schedule being kind of thin now, and obviously the Tyson Fury fight is off as we talked about. Tyson Fury sprained his ankle, so that fight has to be postponed. But we do have the PBC coming up this Tuesday, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, PBC on Fox Sports 1, Fox Deportes as well. We have Edna Cherry versus Lionel Rhodes, 10 rounds lightweights. Omar Douglas versus Alexei Collado, 10 rounds featherweights. Antonio Russell versus Rudolph Hedge, 6 rounds junior featherweights. I believe that is the televised portion of the card. And then on June 30th in Connecticut, non-televised card, Luis Rosa versus Luis Hinojosa, I believe, 8-round junior featherweights. And then also on July 1st, we have a card on Estrella TV, Oscar Negret versus Jose Butos, 10 rounds bantamweights, Emilio Sanchez versus Hugo Patira, 8 rounds junior featherweights, and Nico Valdez versus the dreaded TBA, 4 rounds junior middleweights. So, we don't have too much. Then we have another PBC card coming up July 2nd, which is a very, very interesting matchup here at it's going to be in Reading, Pennsylvania. PBC on ESPN Deportes. Dennis Shafikov versus Jamal Herring, 10 rounds lightweights.
That would be
we have Patrick. Yeah, we have Patrick Szymanski, versus the rugged trial horse veteran Wilkie Kempfert. 10 rounds junior middleweights. No, Kempfert. Wilkie Kempfert. Wilkie Kempfert. I know the guy, but I have a hard time pronouncing that name for some reason.
That's right.
Stephen Fulton versus Jesus Serrano, 6 rounds featherweights, and Frank de Alaba versus Jonathan Perez, 8 rounds junior lightweight. So we have a pretty thin schedule coming up in the summer here for boxing, but hopefully
for the next couple
we'll
of
pick
weeks
things
anyway.
back up in the fall. Yeah, in the fall things are going to get hot and heavy in the fall because as we have Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev in November, and hopefully we can get this.
And by the way, Andre Ward has
Jr. too.
Yeah, Andre Ward has finally picked his next opponent. It's supposed to be Alexander Brand. I heard the date is on. The date is August 6th.
Yeah, it's a July 10th fight. Yeah, it's a July 10th fight. Let's finish this UK fight, this UK card right here. So Connor Ben, Nigel Ben's son, I believe, beat Lucas Ratic very easily. That was a one-sided beatdown. I believe that was a 4th-round stoppage. I saw that fight as well. That was totally one-sided. Was not competitive at all. And also, Dillian Whyte beats Ivanka Baccarin via 6th-round TKO. Vicious uppercut followed up by a right hand that just put him down, and he did not look good, and the referee just waved that one off. So those are 2 one-sided knockout fights for Dillian Whyte and Conor Benn. Now, let's get into the news and rumors here. As I said earlier in the show, Triple G and Canelo is on. We don't fuck around in Mexico, baby. We don't fuck around in Mexico.
That's right. That's why
Robbie
I said
likes
that.
to say.
Yeah. We don't fuck around in Mexico.
Yeah,
there we go. Okay.
All right. The fight that we've all been waiting for is finally happening. Golden Boy and Tom Loeffler have gotten together, and we will give the public exactly what they've been waiting for. And that is a fight between Canelo Alvarez and Triple G. But here's the catch. The fight's going to take place in 2017. We've all heard this before, right?
In September,
yeah. 2017. We've all heard this before. Let's keep our fingers crossed for this one, and let's stop holding our breath for this one. That's right. These 2 guys have decided to fight in the fall of 2017. And Canelo claims that he wants to have a couple fights to get acclimated to the 160-pound division before he faces Gennady Golovkin. This sounds pretty logical, except for the fact that he already fought a couple fights at 160. Maybe not the official limit, but he was the middleweight champion. So
And Joe, get this, his next fight is scheduled to be against Liam Smith at 154. How are you going to get acclimated?
I was just going to say that, Robbie, before you let the cat out the bag.
But my point is, Joe, how in the hell do you get fucking acclimated to 160 if you're going to fight a guy at 154? Get out of here.
Robbie! Well, let him have it, baby. No, I agree, Robbie. I mean, Canelo Alvarez is going to get acclimated to the middleweight division. So what's the best possible move to do that? Let's fight the 154-pound champion, Liam Beefy Smith. And I think it would have been a better fight if he maybe went after Billy Joe Saunders at 160, but that's just my opinion, man.
Well, or he could have.
By the way,
or Joe.
Let me get this in real quick, Robbie.
Okay.
Let me get this in real quick. By the way, somehow, some way, after just recently vacating the WBC middleweight title, guess what? Canelo is now magically ranked as #1 contender by the WBO at 154 pounds. Wow.
Seriously.
Go figure.
Now,
go figure.
How in the hell do you get acclimated at a 160-pound weight, and you're going to fight the UK WBO champion at 154? Get the fuck out of here with that. I mean, you could fight. If you're going to fight somebody at 160, you could fight David Lemieux. You could fight Curtis Stevens. What the hell are you up to, Oscar? Canelo? I mean, give me a fucking break. You're going to fight a 154-pound champion, and yet it's supposed to help you at 160. Are you serious?
That's out of control. That's out of control. Robbie, I got one more on the phone lines here. Let me let somebody in here.
Okay.
602, you're live on Ringside Reporter. What's your name? And let's talk about this Canelo situation. What do you got to say about it?
Hey, B, can you come back to me here in a little bit, man? I'm at the job spot.
No problem, brother. All right.
Don't forget him, man.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back into this now. So,
I mean, come on, you're laughing at my take here, but come on, you got to feel the same way I do about this, don't you?
No, I agree, man. I agree. It's crazy. It's definitely crazy. And we've been fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I mean, we've been down this road before. I don't know, is this fight really going to take place? What are your thoughts? Does Triple G have to really look bad in a fight before they do take this fight? I don't know. How many more excuses can they come up with? How long can they put this fight off? I just don't understand. I don't understand.
Here's a couple of more of my takes. Number one, are they waiting for Gennady to get old overnight? He's not 40 years old, people. Now, look, let's take the Tyson Fury-Vladimir Klitschko fight, for example. Yeah, Tyson Fury got hurt, but you know what? The longer this fight takes, the older Vladimir Klitschko gets, the easier that fight's going to be. I can see that happening in that case, but Gennady Golovkin is not 40 years old, and he's not at the end of his career. I think the longer Canelo puts this off, and nothing against Liam Smith, because he's obviously a champion, he's a good fighter, but the longer Canelo chooses to fight, not a middleweight, the easier this looks to me for Triple G, Joe. I mean, is he definitely afraid of Gennady Golovkin, or what?
Well, it looks like that there is some type of concern with Team Golovkin in regards to
No, with Team Canelo. Team Canelo. They're
Team
the
Canelo,
ones,
excuse me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. I mean, look at Golovkin here, folks. Like I just pointed out, he's going to fight Chris Eubank August or September. Then he's probably going to follow that up with a fight against Billy Joe Saunders and take another belt. What the hell is Canelo's strategy here by fighting Liam Smith on September 17th? Are we expected to pay for that garbage?
Well, I don't know, man. I don't know what they expect. Team Canelo has some type of issues with Golovkin. That's pretty obvious. I don't know.
I know it'll never happen, but I would like Oscar De La Hoya to explain to me what the hell he's doing here.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, this does not look good. I just don't see. I don't understand what the end game is here. I mean, obviously they want to hold on to that zero. Well, not that zero. I mean, he's already lost to Mayweather, but they want to keep him, not lose again for a while. I don't know. I mean, he's already lost, so I don't know what they're protecting. Maybe they think that he could get hurt in this fight and they could destroy him. I don't know. I don't know, but he's already lost before. He came back. They rebuilt him. He could lose this fight and they can rebuild him again. He's got the name. He's got the name. He's got the look.
Let's face it, Joe. I mean, Triple G has knocked out 22 consecutive opponents, and he's made them all look easily. The one that gave him the most difficulty, believe it or not, we just talked about, Martin Murray. I mean, what the hell is Canelo Alvarez afraid of? I mean, Triple G is probably going to demolish. I mean, they're going to give good fights, but he's probably going to end up knocking out both Eubanks and Saunders. That would be 24 consecutive knockouts. That would be 18 successful title defenses. Triple G is not going to look bad against either one of these guys. What the hell is Canelo's problem here? And I wish somebody had the guts to call up and defend him, because there is no defense here. Yeah, I'm almost tempted to call Canelo a coward, but I never want to call a fighter a coward. There's obviously a reason, but I want somebody to explain it to me because I don't see it.
So let's talk about what's next for Triple G. Now, obviously, we've mentioned Chris Eubank Jr., and he would be a significant favorite over Chris Eubank Jr. He would be, I think Golovkin would be like an 8-1 favorite over Chris Eubank Jr. I was reading about that. Billy Joe Saunders be a big favorite over him as well. Canelo Alvarez. But it looks like Chris Eubank Jr. may be the guy to step up to the plate. He doesn't seem to be concerned. Both Eddie Hearn and Tom Loeffler had said everything is in place for a late August or early September showdown. So that looks like could be done. I mean, Chris Eubank obviously had a really easy out yesterday.
And Eubank said
if he comes back in August,
Eubank said he during the post-fight interview live on TV, he flat out told Triple G, he said, "Come on, I'm ready, bring it on." I mean, how many fighters are openly campaigning to say, "I want to fight Triple G"? Come on.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I definitely hear you. But you know what? We got to give him credit. Like you said, he wants to fight. He definitely wants to fight. And, it's definitely something that is interesting. I'm not saying that Chris Eubank would win, but he's going to do a lot better than Dominic Wade did. I can tell you that.
That's correct. And not only that, folks. How many fighters are willing to openly give up their home court advantage and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to go to the UK and win this. So props to Golovkin. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
let's
another
see if
rumor out there is.
I was going to say, let's see if our.
Let me just shoot this rumor out here too, Doc. Because it says Adrien Broner and Manny Pacquiao potential fight that could happen, and also, you know, Manny Pacquiao has been mentioned. He's been on the short list too for Canelo Alvarez. Now, according to Eric Gomez, they told Boxing Scene they couldn't make a Pacquiao Canelo fight because Pacquiao was already scheduled to fight Adrien Broner. So that seems kind of bizarre.
Okay, Joe.
It says we're close to finalizing an opponent. We have a short list. We're very close. We'll be announcing it shortly. One of the guys we were interested in was Pacquiao. We'd love to do a Pacquiao fight, but from what we hear, he has a deal to fight Adrien Broner. So Adrien Broner and Manny Pacquiao, according to Eric Gomez. I don't know how Eric Gomez would know this, but unless they were told by Pacquiao's people, but Bob Arum's not saying anything, so I don't know where this news is coming from. This whole Pacquiao Adrien Broner news, and it's funny too that we would find that out because Canelo Alvarez wanted to fight another welterweight.
God.
So what do you say?
Okay. First of all, Manny Pacquiao won his election to the Filipino Senate. According to what I've been told, he would not have time to train for a fight because there's more responsibility in that. So is he not going to take his new political job seriously? I mean, I just think somebody wants to put Manny Pacquiao's name in the news just to put it in the news. I don't see that fight happening. Sorry, Adrien.
No. Yeah, I understand. I agree. I think that's just kind of like I don't know, one of them stories that's going to come and go away pretty quickly.
I was going to say, let's see if our 602 guy is ready. We don't want to keep him waiting forever.
Yeah, let me see if he wants to jump. See if he's ready back on. If he wants to get back on. 602,
are you ready?
To you. You're live, Ringside Reporter.
Hey, what's up, B? What's up, Robbie? How you guys doing, man?
Hey, we're doing good. Is this Alden? Is this Alden?
Nah, man. This is Brandon from Phoenix, bro.
Okay, Brandon. That's what I mean. Go ahead.
How you doing, Brandon? What's up?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm just, just going through it, man. Out here working outside in the sun, baby, but it's all good, man. But first off, Beebs, man, I feel for you, man. It was another L for the betting on Beebs, man. But I felt you, man. I got a question for you, though. I was basically feeling the same way you were feeling until I saw the sparring footage that your old pals put out there. It kind of confirmed all of my worries about the fight for Porter. Did you see that sparring footage, and did it change your opinion at all going into the fight?
I did, but I'll be honest with you. Thurman was moving a little bit. It looked like Porter was chasing him. But in that footage, I also did not see Thurman doing too much as well. A lot of people looked at that footage and said Thurman was, won the sparring session, and he had his way with them. Keep in mind that was 2 years ago. It was before Thurman got injured. It was a lot of factors to think about. To kind of dispel that. Kind of put a kibosh on that sparring session, so to speak. Not really give it much relevance or more relevance than you really should, because sparring is sparring and fighting is fighting. But I saw some things in there that Thurman did trouble Porter with, but I wasn't so sure that the little things that I saw was going to be enough to get him the victory in this fight. And again, when you're fighting in a real fight, you go at the guy a lot harder than you would in sparring. So I didn't really put much stock into it. No, I didn't, but a lot of people did. And they're saying the same things that you're saying. They thought that Thurman moved very well, and Porter looked like he was chasing and he was being frustrated. So yeah, I mean, I could see where you're coming from, but no, it didn't really sway me away from picking Porter in this fight. No, it did not.
I hear you. I can understand that, man, because I was kind of on the fence more so, and I had always, before I seen that, had the suspicion that I would pick Porter. but after I saw that footage, it kind of swayed me to Thurman. But it wasn't enough for me to put down money on the fight, and I won a little bit on the over in the Joshua fight earlier in the day, so I had the bank to throw down on it, but I wasn't convinced enough either way. So I'm not going at you about it. I'm just asking the question.
No, hey, listen, I'm not a sore loser, bro. I don't cry over spilled milk. If I take the L, I take the L. Like some guys, they take the L and they're like, man. Well,
I don't want to kick you while you're down.
No, I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that,
everybody gets on here and they say, oh, I knew this and I saw that and blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, the one thing that I did know that I just completely forgot of because of the schedule is that I would have put down something on Sosa versus Fortuna because – man, that was the one that I was kicking myself over it, and I knew it. I knew Sosa could do it, but it was what it was. I still haven't been able to see the footage other than the knockout. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have been able to get that on YouTube yet.
I'll see if I can dig it up. But did you get a chance to see any of the UK fights? Did you watch Anthony Joshua versus Dominic Breazeale?
I watched the Joshua fight all the way through. Man, Groves showed up, but I still don't think he's back to his old self. He looked better than he had looked, but I don't know if I would pick him. I think maybe he could beat because Sturm got they took away Sturm's belt because he failed that test, right?
I've got to take a look at that. I believe so, but I'm not 100% sure.
I think they did, but I'm not 100% sure.
I think I'm going to take a look at that.
Yeah. So let's say if he fought let's say if Groves fought Shootinov for the vacant.
That's what's supposed to happen next. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'd take him over Shootinov.
Davey just says they're still waiting to decide on that. Not to interrupt you guys, but Davey said that they're still waiting on that. Thank you, Davey. Our UK correspondent over there, the UK pipeline for the beef. Thank you, Davey.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Davey.
Yeah, so I guess they're waiting on that. They haven't made a decision on that. Sort of like this whole thing with Povetkin. They're still waiting on that. So maybe by Christmas we'll find out whether or not they're going to strip him or not. Or not strip him, but strip him of his ranking.
Yeah.
I'll give you a couple words on Canelo, man. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, to me, this is just it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm with you, Robbie. It makes no sense. I don't know how they're trying to get ready for anybody by going down and wait to go back up and wait. I mean, if you were serious about making this fight, you'd have to be talking about fighting Saunders, or you could fight Stevens, or you could fight Lemieux. You know what I'm saying? You got in-house people you can fight. So it doesn't really make sense.
I almost want to call Canelo a coward because that's what it looks like to me here. I mean, how in the hell are you going to get ready for 160 if you're going to fight somebody at 154? That just does not make any sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense. And then we know what they're going to do. They're going to go down to 154, and then they're going to say they want to catch weight because Canelo's not actually going to move up to 160. That's what they're going to do.
You know what? I think if Triple G is successful and he beats Saunders and he beats Eubank, doesn't Triple G become the A side and have more negotiating power after that?
No.
No.
That doesn't matter. I wish it did, but it doesn't matter, man.
I don't see Golovkin ever going down to a catchweight.
Well, then he's just never going to get that fight, and that's kind of all that it really boils down to. You know what I mean?
Well,
I mean, if you could look at somebody like Bernard. After Bernard beat Tito, he thought he was this, he thought he was that, and Roy didn't want to go 50-50 with him for that fight. I think that before or after Roy went up to heavyweight? Beef, I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think that was before. That was before.
Well, when did John Ruiz have that title? What year was that?
Because I think that fight was in 2005, Robbie. No. Wait, I'm sorry. When was that fight with Roy
before
Jones?
That, wasn't it?
No, it was
2000. I'm sorry. I think that was in, let me double check. I want to say 2002. 2005 was when Roy Jones lost to Tarver. I'm sorry, that's what I was thinking of.
Okay. But anyway, the point I was just going to make was that that doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
As far as is that it's just it is what it is. People are who they are, and some people are popular, and some people aren't. And Canelo is, and Triple G just isn't. With the backing that Canelo has, we'll see how his next couple of fights go. But if he's doing the same
the Johnny Ruiz fight was in 2003. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right.
The Johnny Ruiz fight was in 2003.
That was still a little later than I thought it was, but whatever. But yeah, man. But that's all I got for you guys, man. I'll let you get back to the show. I got to get back to work here.
Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks for calling in.
All right, man.
I want to say this is I want to say this next caller is Jimmy right here, man. I think we got Jimmy coming on.
978. If it's 978, it's Jimmy. Yeah.
Hello,
Jimmy. Is this you? Jimmy.
Yes, sir. What's going on, guys?
Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
What's going on, buddy? Let it out. Let's hear the rant. I said, let it out. Let's hear the rant.
Hey, listen, I'm just as pissed about Canelo. First of all, it's only 4 extra months, 3 extra months for me, because I knew there was no way once he signed with Khan that he was going to fight in September. It wasn't going to happen. He wasn't going to go from Khan to Triple G.
Right.
But that being said, so I'm upset about it. But now let me and I'm going to tell you, this is straight dope. This is exactly what happened. Canelo's not afraid of Triple G. And mind you, I'm pissed. I'm a Triple G fan. I want to see him fight Canelo. But let me tell you the serious, no bullshit, straight dope. This all stems from Oscar and Al Heyman. You got to understand, when you are fucked up on drugs and you're coming out of that, like the last time you were using, that time span that you were using is a blur. It's a different person. He was a full-blown addict. From what I've read, he was really, full-blown. So he didn't know what was going on. So he was very vulnerable. So as a Mexican, a fighter, and a proud man, alpha male, he took what they did because, while he was all fucked up, that's when they did all the conniving, going, sending out reps, going to call fighters, pull the stable right out from under his fucking feet, and started the PBC. He got sober, and he's bullshit. And right now, what he has is the pay-per-view star in boxing. That's all he has. Because his stable is decent. He's got fucking Diaz. I just don't think he has the guns. The young kid right now at 130, I don't think he has the pop to go all the way. He's got a real young kid. He's only got 2 pro fights. Gomes, who's really good. Remember that name, Gomes.
Okay.
But now you take that away, it's light. It's light. And think about this. He cannot, right now, again, pay-per-view star, Al Heyman, he sees the PBC on anybody's measuring stick, from business, from sports, from anything. Every time you hear them imbeciles say, we're going commercial-free, it's because they don't have any advertising space. Their Nielsen numbers are historically low. And I don't even think last night's fight's not going to save them. The damage has been done. Nobody's going to touch them at all. So the PBC is a wounded animal. And I'm telling you right now, Golden Boy's position is this. Hey, Tom, fuck Al. That shit's a dying entity, especially now that the other guy's coming back, Schaefer. Something's going to happen there. But I'm not going to fucking lose my best guy. He's not going to get a loss while Al is still breathing. He wants the PBC to die. It gives another year for the fight. His stable to grow. And, of course, Triple G is going to go to Europe. He'll go anywhere right now. And Eubanks, I'll tell you right now, and I know you guys have to be politically correct as fans. I don't want to insult UK fans and shit, but he will fucking go through that clown like hot knife through butter.
Well, isn't he going to do the same thing with Saunders, though, Jimmy?
Yes, absolutely. But
Saunders,
listen, when you have a guy stand there on YouTube, the video's viral, for Christ's sake. He looks, during the fit of anger, not something to be cute. Eubanks said something to piss him off, so he reacted, and he was fucking as serious as a heart attack. He turns and he goes, Triple G would beat you and me on the same night, and that's a fact. That's coming from a world champion.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's on YouTube. He was at a press conference, and Eubank was shooting his mouth, and he said something about, fighting Triple G. And he said, listen, let's be honest. He would beat you and me the same night. And you know it. And exactly what he said. And there was no comeback from anybody. They kind of shrugged their shoulders like, yeah. Listen, so at this point it's about money. Anybody fights Triple G, it's all about the dollars. I know Danny Jacobs just recently tweeted out that, they have to come out and with some real money now. Now everybody's trying to grab the gravy train and trying to price themselves out. See, Danny Jacobs, let's be honest, he didn't sell out to Barkley. Him and Quinn, the numbers, viewership-wise, were way down from the original PBC things. And it didn't even sell out in your hometown. He doesn't have a fan base. He doesn't have a national name.
Hell, last night's fight at the Barclays only did 12,000,
It's just, listen, the PBC is a dead animal. It's wounded. Oscar's waiting for that to die. He's going to see where the chips lie. Because think about this. And fight is going to have to be – there's going to be a lot of guys retiring because a lot of guys are going to suddenly – you don't think that fucking Bob Arum And you don't think that Oscar and anybody else left standing, if once that goes under, yes, they can still be managed by Al, but if he doesn't have a platform in the fight for, they're going to need, promoters. And if the PBC, which is a promotional company, these fighters are going to need to go to somebody. You think Oscar's going to sit there in his office and look him in the face and go, really, dude? Aren't you the one who fucking ran out on me? So there's a lot of personal, human factors involved here, and it does suck that it's going to be a year. But that's the reason behind it. He just does, and taking on Liam Smith, come on. That's a shitty thing. I even tweeted out a meme about it, and he should take the walk of shame for that. But if you're Oscar, now you're talking tens of millions of dollars for Triple G, Canelo fight in the stadium in Texas. Tens of millions of dollars, right? You think you're going to lose that by Curtis Stevens catching you with a lucky shot? You think you're going to risk that with Lemieux coming over the top of one of his fucking looping right hands and you see fucking Canelo get knocked out and you just lost $20 million? It's not going to happen. So they're going to fight the Liam Smith until next year, and they're going to get paid buku dollars. But that's the whole thing behind it. And I know as boxing fans, like a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about I didn't want to watch it anymore. It gets here after a while. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing behind it. And I agree with you, Joe, on this. Absolutely, Anthony Joshua is ready for Wilder right now.
Okay.
Fighting Breazeale is not going to get you any better, any more prepared. Listen, that was a whitewash. Breazeale was in there to survive. I understand the kid got hot. But like you said, Joe, he beat him in every aspect. There wasn't 1 minute, 1 second of one round that Breazeale looked good against him. So that's not preparing him.
So, Jimmy, you don't think Joshua would be too green for Wilder right now?
No, no, absolutely not. He's a beast. That means a beast. Listen, he gained a lot more respect for me. I'm glad that he went 7 because I was wanting to see how his power range, his quickness, if those big tree trunk legs were going to start slowing him down. And I'll tell you, he looked fresh. He looked fresh in the 7th round. He still had some smoke coming off those hands. So you can see he's just some guys are born with genetic gifts. They're full on mesomorph. So everything he turns to muscle, round muscle bellies. Doesn't make them great athletes or even great fighters. But this kid you can tell is a true athlete.
Because I firmly believe Anthony Joshua is the future of the heavyweight division. That's the way I see it.
I'll tell you right now who he would get fucked up by right now if they were fighting right now. Who he's too green for? Luis Ortiz. Ortiz would school him.
That's a
that
tough
Cuban
one.
kid would school him with his fucking ring generalship and IQ. He would, like you said, you pointed out, not going to the body. That's a rookie thing there. That's definitely a rookie thing. And
that's why I brought that up, because I thought that fight could have ended a few rounds earlier had he done that, but he didn't do that during that whole fight.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think he wanted the rounds. He knew Breazeale wasn't going to have anything for him. He just wanted the rounds and stuff. But Wilder's like him. Wilder's in good shape. He's a good athlete and stuff. And the shame is, too, I feel for Wilder. I like him. Every time I see him talk, I'm like, he seems like a good kid. You know what I mean? I would like to. Now, imagine if Tom Loeffler was handling that kid's career.
It would be much better. It would be much better.
Much better. He'd been fighting 3 or 4 times a year. His name would like Triple G. He didn't get the big money at first. Tom, you got to start a brand. There was nothing, no direction with the PBC. Sporadic fights. Now what? Okay, now if Thurman Porter were taking place last November, and last night's fight was against Danny Garcia from the winner. That, you know what I mean? You're building to something. You have something to build for. There's no direction. You don't know who's fighting. There's no rhyme, no reason. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I just have to. But listen, about Salido Vargas too. I want to say something about that. People got to understand that stuff inside that in the phone booth fighting. For someone who's gotten beaten the shit out of, sparring Mickey and some other good guys, man, fighting in the clinch like that and doing it right is more skilled than most people realize. When you're in there, shoulder to shoulder, head buried in somebody else's collarbone, you're watching for their weight to shift, you're feeling every little thing. I'm telling you, that is a skill Salido has inside. To see him, did you see how he never got caught? He never punched Vargas on the hip on the side that the ref was in. And Salido wasn't looking at him. He's just looking out of the corner of his eyes. Good pros will see the shadowing of the ref to know where he is in the ring. Just the way the ring's bouncing, you can feel the ref where he is, so you know he's to your right. Bang, you hit him on the left hip.
Right.
I'm telling you right now, So for me, without a doubt, hands down, Salido Vargas was the fight of the year up till now. Last night, that Porter style of just bulldozing in, like that one time in the 5th round when he literally chased Thurman, and then both times Thurman just finally backed up, ran out of rope, and just planted his foot and tagged him. And Shawn didn't. It's like, man, I understand Kenny Porter. Listen, he seems like a good dude. Shawn does too. But it's time to let somebody else work with this kid. He is not improved at all. He does not know how to close it, and he smothers his own work. Every time,
I know.
He smothers it. So I absolutely gave Thurman that fight because he landed the crisper shots, the cleaner punches, and he did wobble. You see in the 5th round, too, when Porter's knees buckled a little. I got to give props to Porter, man. He took some, vicious shots. But I'll tell you, the moniker of one time, that doesn't apply no more.
No, it does not.
One-time power at 147.
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When he was fighting cans and meat sacks, he was dropping them. But that one-time power is not there at all.
No, and last night proved that, guys. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that one-shot power that everybody thought back when he was on HBO. What's that, Joe?
I was going to ask you real quick, how do you think he matches up with Danny Garcia and Kell Brooks?
He beats Danny, Kell beats him.
That's what I see, too.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah, he beats Danny. Listen, Danny hasn't fought. Danny hasn't looked good in a long time. I mean, to me, he peaked the night when he took out Sergio Martinez. It's all been downhill pretty much from there. You know what I mean? Brian Malignaggi, come on.
The last time Danny looked really good was when he fought Matisse.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he lost when he went to Puerto Rico. You know what I mean? They're trying to build a brand. The kid goes down there. He can't speak Puerto Rican. Just everything the way it was handled. But, no, Danny Garcia is a prodding hooker who doesn't have any kind of power at 147 that he did when he was banging people out at 135 or 140, or whatever. You know what I mean? So, Thurman beats Danny, but Kell Brook beats them both, without a doubt. Because Thurman doesn't have that racer. Out of all the UK champs, and there's a lot of titleists, in my opinion, not a lot of champions. You don't have, to me, Joshua is definitely going to be one of them. In fact, I'd take Joshua over. I think he would put away Tyson Fury right now. I don't think he needs it anymore.
Absolutely.
I think he takes Tyson Fury out right now. So you got Josh, because that kid is he's quick. He hits that hard. Because Breazeale's got a chin. He's been hit by Mansour and some big dudes. And, he can take a beating. You see his face, man? And Joshua wasn't even really ringing him up either. You know what I mean? So, no, Joshua right now takes Fury. I would put anything I own on that. And Kell Brook. Outside of that, I don't know. There's a few others who are close, but there's no, jump off the page, go down the list. I think those are the true world champions. And Kell Brook, yes, I think is the best welterweight. But here's the problem with Kell Brook. I don't think he can stay much more down there. I mean, he looks emaciated days on the way.
No, I think he's going to have to move up. That's why I don't think we'll ever see him against Thurman, because I think Brook's going to have to move up to 154 eventually.
Yeah, he's going to be in Canelo. That's why Canelo stays. Listen, when you get that kind of money, and you're a walking investment. He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars if you parcel him out over his career, right? That's what Canelo is a walking bank. They do everything. They do mechanics when they punch the pad, and what they do is they find out the hardest you've ever punched that pad. They have a guy saying he writes it down, and then they have you start dropping weight. You keep punching the pad. You keep punching the pad. You want to get as light as you can when you're still hitting at that ideal spot within 10 pounds on the pad. So obviously 155, he can get that light and still crack hard. So that's the reason why he does that Canelo weight, and he only gets away with it because of who he is. You know what I mean? Because he's the pay-per-view star.
Right.
But that's the reason why that's marinating, guys. But, that's my whole thing on that. I think Thurman, hats off to him. I definitely think he won that fight. Porter, the shame. The kid's got hot. He seems like, he's, can't take anything away from a kid who takes a shot like that and keeps coming forward. But he needs someone to teach him how to cover his ground more, with better distance coverage.
I don't know. Like I said earlier, I don't know how much more Kenny Porter can do. I think he needs somebody
that actually. Say that earlier. He absolutely. He needs someone who can teach him how to fight inside. Now, was Kenny Porter? I don't know his background. Was he a fighter himself, or was this something?
I don't believe he was.
I don't think so.
Maybe he did amateur.
I'm telling you, you go to the gyms, you find a salty old guy, man, in the corner, like 67 years old, who's been around the game for 40 years. He teaches, how to fight in the inside. He just if he wouldn't smother his work, he could have won that fight. Some guys get really pissed about that too. You know what I mean? They find that to be that's again too. It's all about judging. So.
Yeah.
No, what happened to Eric? He's not here this week?
He's on vacation.
He's in Orlando.
Oh, nice.
On vacation.
Nice. Excellent. Well, you guys are doing a great job. You really are, man. Very interesting show. I enjoy it.
Thank you, brother.
You guys cover everything excellent, man. You do it, without swearing, calling each other names.
Yeah.
You're on a much better platform, dude. You get to express yourself without worrying about being attacked.
That's right.
Seriously, brother.
Yeah.
Good for you, brother.
Thank you so much,
Hey,
Jimmy.
listen, guys. I'll
Thanks for calling,
enjoy the rest of the show. All right, buddy.
All right, brother.
Peace.
We'll talk to you next week. Take care.
All right, buddy.
Have a good one.
Definitely.
All right. So, Tyson Fury, as we mentioned earlier, versus Vladimir Klitschko is postponed. Tyson Fury's pulled out of his fight with Klitschko with the sprained ankle, and this is what he had to say. Hey, guys, I got a little bit of bad news for y'all. About 10 days ago, I was running, and I went over my ankle, sprained my ankle. I've been to the hospital, had x-rays and MRI scans and all that stuff. They say it's not broken. And hold on for 1 second. They say it's not broken, but it's badly sprained. Keep off it for 6 to 7 weeks. I tried to still train a bit. I had a second opinion a week later, and I got the same advice. So the fight will be postponed. Sorry to all my fans that I let down, but injuries do happen. It's one of them things. My apologies to everyone. The fight will still be on as soon as possible. That's all I know at this moment, but the fight is still going ahead as soon as the ankle gets better. We will reschedule. So, what do you think of this, Robbie? It's kind of ironic how Vladimir was hurt the last time. Now he's hurt this time.
Right.
It is what it is, huh? It's just the luck of the draw, right?
Yep, and I think Tyson Fury, the older Vladimir Klitschko gets, the more success Tyson Fury is going to have. So the delay actually helps Fury. Yeah,
because he didn't look like he was in the best shape either.
Yeah.
I want to remind everyone out there that you can call us at 323-870-3857 if you want to talk to myself or Robert. You want to give your 2 cents on the fights last night. Just call in and remember to hit that number 1, and you can talk to us, talk to fights.
There you go.
Eric's favorite portion of the show, his favorite segment of the show, I should say, is the train wreck of the week. And I hope I can do Eric proud because this is his baby here. Yeah. Okay, this is a pretty sad train wreck of the week, and I feel horrible even reporting it. But I got to report it. Dominic Wade, former middleweight challenger, recently got knocked out by Gennady Golovkin, is facing 3 years in prison. According to official records obtained by TMZ Sports, Wade was charged with assault for a December 23rd incident in which he allegedly attacked the mother of his child, then punched her niece in the face. The niece told cops she had heard the commotion in the home and ran into the room to help her aunt when Wade socked her in the mouth, knocking out one of her teeth. The case went under the radar before his big fight with Triple G, but weeks later he pled guilty to 1 count of assault with significant bodily injury. He's facing up to 3 years in prison when he shows up for his sentencing hearing in August. The IBF promises a 2-year ban for I thought that was attached to this. So,
no.
Robbie, let's talk about this. Man. Despicable, irrepressible behavior here.
Well, I'm kind of sad. I'm kind of sad. I'm kind of sad that this was covered up. I think Triple G probably should have been given another opponent to replace this dude. I mean, we've got to get rid of domestic violence, period. How dare you hit the mother of your child, for God's sakes, and then to beat up another female on top of that? I mean, you're supposed to love women. You're not supposed to hurt them, for Christ's sakes. I mean, get out of here.
Absolutely, Robin. Preach. I mean, this is irrepressible behavior. This was disgusting. It's just horrible. I don't know what to say. You know, and shame on the IBF. You know, shame on the IBF. Shame on the WBA. Shame on both sanctioning bodies here, the IBO, for letting this fight happen. Because, you know, you want to talk trash about the WBC. A lot of people love to talk trash about the WBC, and, you know, they do it all the time. But the WBC does have a morality clause there. And I suspect that maybe the WBC, if they had news of this, they would probably have not allowed Dominic Breazeale to fight because of the situation, because this was a violent crime. I don't believe this is a misdemeanor at all. This is assault.
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
With significant bodily injury. This is a felony. So I don't think the WBC would have allowed this fight to continue. That's just my opinion. But, you know, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. And, you know, shame on everyone. I mean, this fight, this fight happened, and this went under the radar, and it's a disgrace, and there's not much more you can say about it. I mean, it's just disgusting behavior, and it's sad. It's really, really sad that, you know,
I mean,
a child was involved in this. Not only just a woman. It's bad enough with a woman, but a child also was involved in this. And, you know, this is a traumatizing event that could affect both people involved for a long time.
Domestic violence or sexual assaults or rapes.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to get rid of this behavior. I mean, my God, no wonder why so many women out there don't trust men. I mean, Joe, you and I weren't raised to raise a hand to a female under any circumstances.
Absolutely not.
I mean, what the hell is this new generation up to? You think you can beat the person you supposedly love? I mean, it makes it difficult for us guys. It makes it difficult for us good guys who are actually single, who are trying to find somebody decent to be with. So many women are hurt. Yeah. They don't know when to trust a guy and when not to anymore. Good
point, Robbie.
You know.
But I want to go to the phone lines real quick here.
Okay.
812, you're live on Ringside Reporter. What's your name?
That's
talk to us,
Joe
man.
from Indiana, who was at the Porter fight
Joey?
last night.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Joey. Joey, what's happening?
But today I'm Joey from Brooklyn, man. I'm still out here in Brooklyn.
You went. You went. Oh my God, you went.
Dude.
That's right. What's up, brother?
Man, I had a great week. I lost my voice, but I met so many great fighters and trainers, and man, I had conversations with Thurman's dad. I mean, I met Sergio Martinez, Mikey Garcia, Robert Garcia. It was just a great night. That fight, dude, I was like, it was electric. I mean, it was just crazy atmosphere, man. And I'm really happy. You know, my fighter won. That's what I was really going for all along. I'm a big Thurman fan. And when he pulled it out, man, I was happy. But man, you know, Porter, I got to give one thing. I knew he was going to charge in a lot, guys, but, man, the guy is well conditioned. He was doing that almost for 12 rounds. I think he did 10 or 12 rounds. He charged in and was just bull rushing. But Thurman, man, you got to give Thurman his credit. But, yeah, Robbie, it was just something about when you attend a live fight, man, like nothing compares to it, man. I mean, it was just a great atmosphere. And then, like I said, I met a lot of fighters out here. You know, Peter Quillen's pretty cool dude too, man. Just, you know, I had a good time, guys. I mean, the conversation I had with Thurman's dad, man, that was really awesome. I met him at the weigh-in and after the fight too, so he was real cool, man. But what you guys?
Oh wow!
Now I haven't watched it back yet on the replay. I'm waiting for it. Hopefully Showtime will put it on demand so I can watch it on the before I head on the plane tomorrow. What was your and sorry if I just tuned in, man. I've been traveling, I went to the Yankees game today, and I'm just getting back into the hotel.
Okay.
But how'd you score it, Robbie and Beef?
We both had it 115-113 for Thurman.
Okay, so
it was close.
Because it was close. I was shocked. I didn't know why the fans were booing, because a lot of the fans were cheering for Thurman during the fight, and it seemed like once the decision was made, they booed him.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
It's crazy. It's crazy because a lot of people, it seems live, thought that Porter won the fight, and I mean, you can make a case for a draw. Like I like to say this sometimes that maybe Porter did enough not to lose, but I don't think he did enough to win because I thought he lost the last 3 rounds. I mean, most people had him losing the last 3 rounds. I don't know. Like when you watched this fight live and before the scores were announced, what did you think? Who did you think won, and what did you expect the scorecards to be?
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm never good at scoring, but I was nervous. Like I didn't know what was gonna happen. I just didn't want my fighter to lose.
So you thought it was close enough where it could have went Shawn's way, maybe.
Yeah. I told my cousin.
That's fair.
I looked at my cousin. I told my cousin I thought it was gonna be a draw, but then again, I forget what round it was, guys. I may have had a few too many drinks, but there was one round when Thurman like buzzed Porter towards the end of the round, and I was like, okay, the tide has just turned. I want to say it was the 10th round.
Wow.
I believe that happened late in the fight. I know the round you're talking about. I think it was late in the fight.
Yeah, he had him in the corner. It was like maybe 10 seconds left, and he buzzed him real, real good. And I was like, the tide has turned. But it was all around. I wish the undercard could have been a little bit better. I'll be honest with you. I got to the stadium right when the first fight started. But what I did was I went and kicked it hung out in the VIP lounge, not the VIP, but in the lounge, and watched the Anthony Joshua fight.
Yeah, what did you think of that, Joe?
Man, that guy he's a beast. I love him. He's must-see TV now, like must-see, like must-see.
He is.
He was just, I mean, he rocked Breazeale hard, and I think he knocked him down in a second. But when he finished, that's how Mike Tyson used to finish fighters, man. And that's what I kind of like. But I can't wait till he comes to the States, man, because he's going to be anywhere he goes, he's going to be a big ticket. He's already a big ticket. But 17 wins and 17 KOs, that's big time, man. Hey, what did you guys think about the Hurd and Molina fight?
That was crazy too.
We didn't. That was a crazy
fight. We didn't talk
about
that. We didn't talk about that. But I didn't know too much about Hurd, but he's a slickster. He's a cutie, right? He's a slick.
Yeah.
He's a pretty smooth customer in there, no?
No,
the second time I seen him fight, and he was very impressive.
Yeah, I've seen Jared Hurd fight before, and I thought he was going to win, but it was a crazy ending. I'm glad he won, but that referee got a little panicked.
Have you seen much of him, Robbie?
Yeah.
Have you seen much of him? How many times have you seen him fight?
In a couple, I've seen him fight on Fox a couple of times. Fox Sports 1.
Oh, okay. I think I only seen him fight like twice.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about him. He's
good
though.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to be a decent prospect. I see that's the problem I have with all PBC fighters, and Steve covered this on his show last week. It's great to be with the PBC. You get paid very well, but Al's program is to keep you as inactive as possible, and that doesn't help your
fighters.
That doesn't help your fighter's career. I mean, that's bad business.
Too many fighters, not enough shows. Too many fighters, not enough shows. Go ahead, Joe.
Guys, let me ask you this, guys. With this win by Thurman, though, yesterday, where does it put him at as far as, is he now the number one 147-pounder, or you still got Cal Brook over him?
I would
got
still
Cal
put
Brook.
I still Cal Brook. Now, I think you're going to if Cal Brook's weight doesn't get away from him, because he's almost too big for the division, I think you're eventually going to see Thurman and Brook fight.
Now,
but if someone does want to... Oh, go ahead, Joe.
No, I was just going to say, I'm hoping that they do Danny Thurman next, maybe the end of fall or beginning of the new year. But I'm hoping Thurman can fight again before the end of the year. I don't want any more tune-up fights, though. I think he's at the point of his career where, when Mayweather was 31, I believe, he just started taking from then. I'm not comparing him, just saying he just took nothing but big-name fights after that. So I don't think he needs any more stay busy fights. Any more what's the word the phrase they use when the fighter's over the hill. It's no. You could say that, but it's
journeyman. Journeyman.
It's a gatekeeper. They say gatekeepers.
Gatekeeper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think at this point I wish Thurman would just go after. There's so many good names. I mean, there's Danny, there's Bradley. I mean, there's Tim Bradley, there's Danny. Then there's Brook, and then we got Spence. I mean, those 4 guys, you can within the next 2.5 years can get that in. So I just hope he continues down that path so he can make a name as the pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
I don't know how much longer Cal Brook's going to be able to stay at 147. He's almost getting too big for the division.
Yeah, it's going to be. But overall, guys, like the only one thing with this trip though, Beeb and Rob, I missed out on a lot of boxing news. Like I caught up with some of it on Twitter and stuff, but I normally do a lot of research. I seen that Canelo and Smith got announced, and then I heard Fury pulled out, and then I heard rumors on Manny and Broner, and I'm like, man, all this is going on. And then Mikey Garcia tells me yesterday when I met him that he's fighting.
Yeah,
he'll be fighting.
Like, he'll be fighting on July 30th. Yep.
So let me end with this, guys, before I get out of here. After this week's of fights and news and everything that went on, how does boxing look? Finishing off for the summer, like we got the momentum rolling for the sport of boxing, or are we still kind of at a standstill?
It's gonna be slow for a few weeks now.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little slow. That Fury postponement put a damper on things a little bit, but hopefully this Triple G versus Eubanks Jr. that could add a little bit of spice back into the game. But we'll see, man, because there's no. The only fight, really, that I'm looking forward to right now, really, with a lot of anticipation, that's a good one, too. I forgot about that one, but I'm really looking for the Ward Kovalev. But, yeah, I forgot about that. The Crawford-Postal in July, that's right, Robbie. We forgot about that. So that's a bright spot right there. Good point, Joe.
July 23rd on HBO pay-per-view, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unification, man. You know what? And Beeb and Rod, I don't get Unimas back home in Indiana. But when I got back to the hotel last night, I turned the channel on and I was watching Mike Alvarado. I know he's old, nobody really probably even cares anymore, but he did pull out a split decision win last night. So I was like, it felt good just to see some boxing on Unimas because I never get to see it on there. It felt good just to watch the fight.
I'm glad you can speak Spanish to understand what's going on there, man.
I can, Robbie. I can speak Spanish. I act like I do. I act like I know what's going on, but I just watch the punches getting thrown, man.
All right.
But hey, guys, I appreciate you. I just wanted to call in and show support, man. I missed it last week, Beeb. I didn't know the show was going to start an hour later. But I like to call in. I really like you guys a lot, man. So, hey, where's Eric at?
All right, man.
He's on vacation.
He's in Orlando. He's playing with the Killer Whales. He's playing with the Killer Whales in Orlando.
Yeah. Better stay away from the alligators and the nightclubs, okay?
Hey, I bet he's telling you guys he's on vacation. He's probably out there with Adrien Broner at the club or something. All right, guys.
All right, see ya.
All right, Joe. We'll see you next week, man.
All right, later.
All right, Robbie. Well, back to the news here. The IBF is following suit with the other sanctioning bodies, well, at least the WBC, that they're promising a 2-year ban for anyone competing in the Olympics. The International Boxing Federation has stated that anyone who fights in the Olympics will be removed from their rankings for 1 year, and any current champions will be stripped of their belts. Wow. Wow.
Honestly, Beeb, I hope no pros, absolutely no pros, try to do this.
Yeah. I hope not either.
They have no business. I mean, no offense here, but somebody could die. I mean, you put a pro against an amateur, the amateur could get killed.
Yeah. We both agree on this. I mean, obviously it doesn't look like with these sanctioning bodies, warning fighters that they're going to ban them if they compete. It looks like it's a big enough deterrent to not have boxers compete. So that's a good thing.
Thank God.
Shout out to the sanctioning bodies for stepping up and doing this. Okay, more news here. Sammy Vasquez will be facing Luis Collazo, and that's going to be on July 16th. Undefeated welterweight contender Sammy the Sergeant Vasquez will be taking on Luis Collazo in a 10-round co-main event of a PBC on Fox and Fox Deportes card Saturday, as I said, July 16th, from the Legacy Arena in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yep, that's the same card where Wilder's going to fight Areola. So, okay.
Yeah, that's just been added to that card.
Yep.
And we talked about Anthony Joshua a lot tonight in this show. let's talk about what it takes to make a top-notch athlete. What do they eat to stay in shape? Well, Anthony Joshua talked to Sky Sports and gave a breakdown of what he eats to get ready for a big fight. Eggs, rice, chicken, and avocado are just some of the things he eats to get ready. You can see the full article about his diet on RingsideReporter.com. Andre Ward is going to be fighting August 6th. His opponent will be Colombian Alexander Brand. If Ward gets past Brand, then he will face Sergey Kovalev on November 19th on HBO pay-per-view in Las Vegas.
And remember, for those that don't, I was going to say for those that don't remember, Alexander Brand was supposed to be the opponent of Adrien Broner on the night that Miguel Cotto and Canelo fought in November. So there you go. Go ahead about Zab Judah.
Well, we have a train wreck of the week runner-up here. Okay. Zab Judah, as we talked about a couple months ago with the controversy with his promoter, Roy Engelbreit, he was cleared to fight by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. He's allowed to resume his boxing career. You may remember that Judah and his promoter were accused of falsifying documents prior to his fight. Judah faced approximately 2 hours Tuesday morning. He was with the council, and they unanimously agreed to lift his suspension immediately. Judah was originally barred from fighting after he and his promoter, Roy Engelbreit, falsified statements on Judah's boxing license that would have allowed him to fight on March 12th. Judah was scheduled to fight Josh Torres in the main event on an Engelbreit card at the downtown Las Vegas Event Center, but the fight was canceled after it was discovered that Judah owed back child support and had indicated on his application that he had no liens against him. The form was filled out by Engelbreit without Judah's knowledge. The promoter was given an 18-month suspension last month. So obviously Judah owed some back child support payments. The promoter fudged the documents, and Judah didn't know about it, so he's cleared because of that, and I guess the promoter's caught holding the bag in this one. What do you think of that, Robbie? You think Judah had any knowledge to it?
No, I don't think he did. I think sometimes these promoters do things without the fighter's knowledge, especially in a guy like Zab Judah's case.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, Richard Schaefer. Good old Richard Schaefer is back. Former Golden Boy employee Richard Schaefer is back and has his own promotional company, Ringstar Sports. Schaefer will most likely be working with Al Heyman setting up fights. What do you think of that, Robbie? That looks like it's going to be pretty interesting, huh?
Well, and, we've still got the Golden Boy lawsuit in place. I wonder if this helps Oscar's case.
Yeah, I kind of think that will probably be settled out and maybe possibly dismissed. I don't know. It seems like the trend that's been happening with these lawsuits. But, Richard Schaefer, we got to give him credit for his work back in the day with Golden Boy. He always made the big fights. He did a great job always with Golden Boy. So, given his past history of making big fights, I'm kind of excited to see what he's going to do when he links back up with Al Heyman, and I'm excited to see the type of matchups we get from his new promotional company, Ringstar Sports. And it's going to be interesting to see, how many Heyman fighters will be promoted by Richard Schaefer now.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see, and I do have to give Schaefer credit. He did put on good fights, but I just don't like the way that everything turned out and the way he went about it. They basically tried to steal Oscar's company from him.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. I mean, Oscar was having some issues, and I'm not so sure he was at that particular time fit to run the company. And he did mention that he was going to sell the company, and then he kind of pulled the plug on that. So Schaefer was kind of caught in a sticky situation. He decided to jump ship and set himself up for the future, which he now did, and now he's on his own, and now he doesn't have to ride anyone's coattails.
Yeah,
okay,
that's good
I hate
point.
to report this next block of news here, because I know everyone's going to be clapping at this, all the PBC haters, but the PBC took a hit on the ratings last week with the
Andrew Fonfora, Joe Smith card. It only got 0.8 in the TV ratings, and I don't know too much about what that means, but according to some sources, that is really bad.
Yeah.
That makes me bear. The question now needs to be asked, Robbie. Has the PBC run its course? Is this just the public telling them to pick it up and put on better shows? Is this just the public kind of letting them know, hey, we don't like what you've been giving us, and if you don't give us something better, we're not going to tune in. What do you think?
The problem with the PBC ratings, if you go back to the very beginning, Joe, they've steadily declined ever since the very first show. So the public has been sending a strong message, but Al Heyman and company have not been able to deliver or haven't wanted to deliver. I kind of agree with Jimmy's take. I think Oscar and Bob and Tom Loeffler and other promoters are waiting for Al Heyman's PBC to completely fall apart. And with ratings like this, it's well on its way.
Wow. We'll see what happens. Last night was a good fight. It was a fight that everyone wanted to see. Let's see if the ratings will reflect that. That's going to be interesting to see in these upcoming days.
Yep.
Or week or so, if we can get the ratings on that, and I'd be very excited to see if that did big numbers or not.
They'll probably be out tomorrow or Tuesday, I would imagine. So we'll see.
Okay. Well, as we mentioned earlier, former heavyweight champion of the world, Riddick Bowe, now has his Hall of Fame ring being sold on eBay. And I don't know too much about memorabilia, but according to some in the industry, it says that for the low price of $50,000, you can own Riddick Bowe's International Boxing Hall of Fame ring. So I guess
now Joe,
International Boxing Hall of Fame ring is supposed to be worth more than $50,000. I didn't know that, but hey,
I've got to ask a serious question here. Did somebody take advantage of Riddick Bowe financially, like Rock Newman? Did he clean out his clock, or is this another fighter that mismanaged his finances?
Well, Riddick Bowe was he was doing a lot of crazy things. I don't think psychologically he was in the right frame of mind. He wasn't in the right place mentally. I believe he supposedly, I think back in the day, he kidnapped his kids. And he's got a restraining order against his wife now, and I'm not even sure if he's allowed to see his kids. I don't know the whole story, but there's a lot of crazy things going on back in the day. You hear him talk now, he slurs his words, so he's definitely not in the best shape financially or just
mentally.
In life in general. Life in general seems like he's kind of down and out a little bit. So I guess that's why he's auctioning off these things. So he put his Hall of Fame ring on eBay, and it's described as follows: original Riddick Bowe International Boxing Hall of Fame ring, manufactured by Balfour, made of 10-karat gold with real, genuine, high-grade diamond. This ring is the original issue ring presented to Riddick Bowe for his induction into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. There is only one of these rings in existence. Guaranteed authentic. Weight is a massive 31.7 grams of 10-karat gold with one real high-grade diamond on the face of the ring. It's a size 13. This ring being made of gold, therefore, it can be resized up or down 2 sizes without jeopardizing the integrity of the ring. This is the same style ring given to all inductees of the International Boxing Hall of Fame in Canastota, New York. You must be a member of the Hall of Fame to receive this ring. This is a very sought-after championship ring that rarely comes available to the public. Truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to purchase this ring, representing one of the most notorious heavyweights in boxing history. Thank you for considering our auction, and please see pictures for details. So, the way this ring is being described, this looks. I'd like to see. What's that show on what's that show there with the where you have those three guys and they have that pawn shop? Well, Pawn Stars. I'd love to see someone bring this ring into Pawn Stars and see how much this ring would actually be worth. That's kind of I'd love to see that, man. That's kind of an interesting point.
You know, it's kind of too bad that the Hall of Fame can't just buy the ring back and because you know the only way you earn this ring is if you're inducted. I mean, to have an individual walk around owning the ring that they didn't earn, that's kind of not good.
Yeah, well, you know things are going real bad when you know, a heavyweight champion has to sell his ring on eBay, man. Or his Hall of Fame ring on eBay. That's something that you want to hold on. That's something you'd want to hold on to for the rest of your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm sure it pains him to have to sell that ring.
Yeah, that's why I wonder about the validity of a guy like Rock Newman. How much did he dip his hand into the till, so to speak?
Yeah. I mean, you know, the fighter does sign these managerial contracts. You know, he should read them or should have a lawyer go over them. I don't know. I mean, you know, that's why, you know, when you look at today's fighters and people complain about how they are and they're so business savvy and they're protective of themselves because things like this happen. And obviously this isn't to justify the bad matchups that we get, but this is why fighters kind of want to sit things out and make sure they can get the most money because who knows when your career is over and who knows how many fights you have left, so you might as well make the most of it while you're still active and while you still can, so I guess.
And that is true.
Yep.
Wow.
More news here. Errol Spence Jr. will be fighting Leonard Bundu, and that fight is set for August 21st. The winner of the fight will then become the mandatory for Kell Brook in his IBF welterweight title.
And that fight will be...
Kell Brook drops the title before he fights Errol Spence Jr. I don't know if I agree with that. Eric's talking point right there. I don't know if Kell Brook will vacate the title. I don't know. What do you think, Robbie?
I think the only way I think Kell Brook will vacate the title, Joe, is if he can no longer make the weight because of how big he actually is. But I think Kell Brook will fight anybody, you know, if he's able to. And Leonard Bundu is going to give him a good fight, but I think Earl's going to win like he always does. And this fight will be on NBC Sports on August 21st. So this will be another probably prime time event on NBC. So we'll see what else they add to that card.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. All right, Alexander Povetkin and his posse, they're lawyering up, man. They're getting down and dirty. Alexander Povetkin and his promoter, Andre Ryabinski, are suing Deontay Wilder for defamation and breach of contract to the tune of a whopping $34.5 million, as everyone knows, in January of 2016. Well, I don't know if everyone knows this, but you know, I've been saying it enough. In January of 2016, Meldonium, which is a drug that was detected in the Povetkin system at the time of the testing, was placed on the banned substance list. Meldonium can take months to get out of your system. Ryabinski and Povetkin say that statements about the fight being canceled and Meldonium use are damaging, and they are also suing for defamation of character. Andre Ryabinski, head of the World Boxing, head of World of Boxing, I guess that's the name of his promotional company. This is what he had to say. The Wilder side has behaved in an unsporting and disrespectful way. I am convinced that they did this deliberately because they were afraid of the fight with Povetkin. But we will not let this pass unchallenged. Elmira, I apologize if I butcher this name, Elmira Kondrayeva, partner at Forward Legal Law Firm, who was representing the interests of World of Boxing, also chimed in. We rate the chances of winning quite high, as Wilder's statements are having an extremely negative impact on the reputation of one of the most respected boxers in the world.
Certainly.
Now, mind you, the WBC has still not made a decision on this matter with Alexander Povetkin. So what on earth is taking so long with this, man? What's going on, Robbie? Something smells fishy.
Here's a couple of things here. Rybinski's probably throwing lots of money at the WBC, and we know how corrupt.
Wow, Robbie, be careful. Rybinski's going to sue you now. He's going to sue you now.
That's okay. We know how corrupt Jose Sulaiman used to be. I wonder if the apple hasn't fallen too far from the tree, you know. But another thing, remember last week on this show we reported that Deontay Wilder, he lawyered up to win his purse, you know, that he was supposed to collect. So I think this is going to turn out to be a court battle, and both sides are going to end up, you know, not doing too good when it's all said and done. And the WBC needs to get off their butts and actually suspend this dude and give another heavyweight in the rankings a shot at Wilder. I mean, Chris Arreola is a decent fighter, but he ain't going to beat Deontay Wilder.
No, not at all. Not at all. So let's talk about this lawsuit, man. What did they do? Like, what did the Wilder team say? What did they say that's going to put them in a position where they should be sued for defamation of character? All they said was he failed the drug test, which he did.
Yeah.
Is that a lie? How is that defaming him? I mean,
no, that's
failed
not.
the drug test.
No, I think any judge with the right frame of mind, depending on where this is held, would throw the Povetkin suit out and they would go on with the Wilder suit because Wilder deserves to get paid. He didn't do anything wrong. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, the only reason why he's taking Chris Arreola here is because he wants to stay in shape. I mean, he went to the UK for 3 months, Beeb, and trained for 3 months over there so he could get used to the time difference and get ready to be in Russia. And 10 days before he was supposed to fight, the guy fails a drug test. I mean, Deontay Wilder didn't do anything wrong here, and that's why I defended Wilder last week, because people were upset that Arreola is getting the shot. Deontay Wilder is just giving a shot to somebody because he's not going to waste all that training that he went through.
No, I understand. Obviously, it's not the fight that we want, but, it's better than nothing. And, with that being said, Alexander Povetkin is still on the shelf, and he doesn't have anything signed, and it doesn't look like he is going to be able. I'm not sure if he's able to fight because of what's going on until the decision is made, but that's only with the WBC. I wonder what the other sanctioning bodies would say or are saying about Alexander Povetkin. Even if he gets suspended by the WBC. No, that's what I'm saying. So if he gets suspended by the WBC for a period of time, would it be safe to say that he could fight, someone else, like in another sanctioning body? It's not like he's going to be I wonder by the WBC suspending him, if they do choose to do so, will other commissions follow that suspension? Will they honor that suspension? Will they be on board with that suspension?
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, so I don't know how that would all play out if he would decide to go in a different route and try to position himself to fight another world champion or what the case may be, because Wilder had stated that he would vacate that title if he was forced to fight Povetkin. He mentioned that. I'm not sure if he's 100% certain that that's what he would do, but he did mention that would be a possibility if Povetkin was suspended.
And you know what?
So
I would support him in that decision. You don't want to see a person give up a title, but if he's forced to fight somebody who cheated, I don't blame him.
Well, Robbie, that's about it for this show this week. Did you want to talk about anything else before we go? Any closing thoughts? I know you mentioned that these next upcoming weeks are pretty thin. Really not any big fights coming up, but all in all, last night was a good card. It was a good show, and what do you think, man?
First of all, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and calling in and supporting us. And we hope that Eric and family have a good week in Orlando. Because Eric did say he was going to try and call in, but obviously things are being more exciting in Orlando, and I can't blame him. But for those of you that like my history, my history lesson podcast. This week, I will be reviewing one of the all-time great fights. And Joe, I'm taking a fight from your idol here. I'm going to be reviewing Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hearns, #1, and so people need to tune in for that. Yeah. So I'm going to be working on that in the next couple of days. If you want to, you can get a hold of me on Twitter at Ringside Robert, or you can call the Ringside Robbie's Boxing Corner at 773-572-7781. And if you guys have questions or comments, I'll try to get back to you.
And make sure you check out RingsideReporter.com for the latest boxing news. And you can lord up at Ringside73 on Twitter. You can catch me at JHabib1 on Twitter. You can catch me on at Joe Habib on Facebook. You can also find me at BeatingTheOddsAtBeeb.com. That will direct you to my YouTube channel, and I do a lot of the latest breakdowns of fights. I talk about all different topics, but it's mostly boxing on there. And I welcome anyone to leave me comments or leave me questions or any suggestions that they would want me to do in terms of breaking down a specific fight. I'll definitely be open to doing anything that you guys ask within reason. But that's all we have for now. We'll see you next week, and thank you everyone for listening, and take care. Have a great night.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Ringside Reporter Podcast. Check us out on the web at www.ringsidereporter.com, on Twitter at Ringside73, and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Ringside73. Subscribe to us on iTunes.
Fios is not cable. We're wired differently, which means you can get the fastest internet available with equal upload and download speeds from 50 to 500 megs. So you can upload 200 photos before your favorite song is finished. Click the ad and switch to Fios today to get our best offer ever. Fios is not cable. We're wired differently, which means you can get the fastest internet available with equal upload and download speeds from 50 to 500 megs. So you can upload 200 photos before your favorite song is finished. Click the ad and switch to Fios today to get our best offer ever.